we are going to dive into the world of aquaculture with our session titled Aquaculture, Sustainable Solutions for Global Food Industry and Security rather. As the demand of seafood rises, sustainable aquaculture is essential to meet global food needs while preserving our planet. And today we have two outstanding leaders in this field for a joint session who are going to take up the stage in just a few minutes from now. So first and foremost, I'd like to invite Mr. Kåre Johan Teigen, if I'm correct. Mr. Kåre Johan Teigen, co-founder and chief commercial officer at Wai Genetics. Mr. Kåre brings a wealth of experience from Norwegian salmon industry and his company is pioneering genetic extraction methods to provide more precise analytics. Put your hands together for Mr. Kåre once again. Joining him is our next speaker, Dr. Taher Kassem, CEO of ALGOFAIT. Dr. Kassem has been a trailblazer in sustainable aquaculture for over a decade. Through projects like the 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐬𝐢 in France and his work on shrimp farms in Saudi Arabia has shown how AI and eco-friendly techniques and technologies can revolutionize seafood production, setting new standards for sustainability in aquaculture. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kåre and Dr. Kassem. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. And it's over to you to talk about aquaculture, sustainable solutions for global food security. Over to you guys.
Great, finally. Yeah. Taher, you have something to confess. Yeah. You're into some fishy business. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I'm very proud to speak with you, a true Viking, and a son of Ragnar, and especially in scientist and aquaculture. Actually, in the world of aquaculture, you know, there is a big demand on the seafood, and there is like 65 million tons gap between supply and demand. And aquaculture faces a lot of challenges. So we at ALGOFAIT addresses these challenges, coming up with a new generation of smart and sustainable fish farming. First, we start to develop the concept of the greenhouse to be adaptable for aquaculture activity. This is to move the aquaculture from industrial to agriculture, so we can build it on agricultural lands without harming the soil. And we call it the eco-blue house, because like green, blue, and you know the concept. Then it started at the beginning that we developed, and we have a patent in biological technology, using the nitrifying bacteria to consume the ammonia, which is caused from the fish waste toxic. And later on, we implement the IoT and the AI machine learning methods to analyze data, optimize the production, and reduce the energy consumption.
I love that you mentioned bacteria. That's my place in aquaculture.
Yeah, exactly. So can you tell me about how Wai Genetics participates in aquaculture?
So metaphorically, Wai Genetics is in the business of love. You know, every day there is a love letter going between the sun and Mother Earth. And this love letter is written with the DNA. So in Wai Genetics, we try to decipher this love letter. So imagine if this is the DNA. In every living being, in every cell, there is a love letter telling how the species will assemble. The challenge is, when we're trying to extract the DNA, other chemical compounds in the sample start tearing it apart. And when it's teared apart, it's really hard to read the DNA. So what we do, we are blocking the compounds trying to destroy the DNA so we read it better. Well, what has this to do with aquaculture?
Exactly.
Can you tell more about the nitrification bacteria? Yeah. Why is this so important?
Yeah, actually, because now we are trying to produce natural fish and seafood without using any chemicals or antibiotic or hormones. We don't want to make the same mistake in agriculture. You know, aquaculture, or the modern aquaculture, is only 50 years old, like agriculture, thousands. So we produce natural fish and shrimp without using any chemicals, using a bioloop. The bioloop is like a biofilter where we culture nitrifying bacteria, different types of bacteria, and then it consumes the toxic. And we remove also the particles, small particles. Here, it's very important to know the functionality of this bacteria, how it's active and like this. This is one of the big challenges in aquaculture and bioloop technology. So what you can tell us about it?
Yeah, I also work with a bioreactor in Norway. Like Norway is very big with salmon production. And the case is, when you use bacteria to recycle the water, you can reduce the electricity cost and the water use because the water is just going in cycle. But as they say, the bacteria gives and the bacteria takes. If you don't have control over the bacteria population, disaster can happen. And last year when I was working in aquaculture, during the night I was sleeping, there was an alarm on my phone. There is a gas leakage in the system and this needs to be fixed. If the gas is not stopped, all the fish will die. And the gas is produced by the bacteria because there is an imbalance in the bacteria population and they're producing gas instead of clean water. We had just 2 hours to save all the fish and we didn't make it. 800,000 fish was dead the next day. And we were supposed the next week to send this fish out into the nets in the ocean. So my colleagues waiting for the fish, they didn't have a job to go to because we lost the fish and the company lost a lot of money. So knowing what's going on with the bacteria matters a lot. People lose money and they lose their job if the bioreactor doesn't work.
And can you figure out the density of the active and non-active bacteria in functioning?
So what we do at Wai Genetics is to understand the genetic, but also understand the bacteria population within the bioreactor. So how we do it is because the bacteria is producing, as you said, the biofilm. And the biofilm during DNA reading is blocking the reading of the bacteria and the DNA. So we wash away all the disturbance. And together with a laser reader, we can read all the bacteria in the sample, but not only the bacteria, how active they are, because that's really important. If the bacteria who are producing poisonous gas is super active, that's an indicator something bad is about to happen.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, and this is going to be a big asset for aquaculture. So we implement sensors to monitor the water quality. And even though that we are linking the fish behavior to the water quality, the objective is to provide the best environment, like a 5-star hotels for the shrimp and fish, so they can grow fast and with high quality. And we implement this in Saudi Arabia with a successful experiment. Later on, we build also other farms in different regions. So here, where we are maintaining the high quality of the water, but still there is other challenges with the bacteria functioning.
Yeah, I think so. To succeed with more complex recycling aquaculture system called 𝐷𝐸𝐺, that's what we're working on. Yeah. You need to master all these chemical metrics, but also the bacterial metrics. Right now, they are talking a lot about in Norway, what about making the entire production in a closed system? The problem is, when you are, the salmon production cycles is 4 years. 2 of them is on land, and the rest is out in the ocean. And if you're trying to extend in the closed system to 4 years, all the chemical imbalances in the system accumulate. So after 2 years, you need to get it back to the ocean. Yeah. But if what you're working on to measuring the gases better, and what I'm working on to measuring the bacteria population works, we can extend it from 2 years to 4 years. If that's possible to do, it would be very easy to start producing salmon, not only in Norway, but down here in the Emirates.
Yes, exactly. producing different kind of, like a cold fish in a hot area is a big challenge. So, but I see that you can use your genetics also, technology in different domains, like not only in aquaculture now.
Yeah, absolutely. DNA is, as I say, it's a universal love language. Every being, from bacteria to animals to plants to fungi, have DNA. So on the difficult samples, the reagent we are making to make DNA more available to read can be used everywhere. The reason I want to look into agriculture and aquaculture is because this is easier to enter this industry compared to medicine. The medicine is so high barriers to entry that you run out of money before you get there. And also, in aquaculture and agriculture, you can have a huge impact. Food security matters. It's more important that the population have food, well, than we live until we are 200 years.
Yes, exactly. And also the production should be following the norms of the environmental friendly. And the smart solution is understood in a wrong way, I think, with some industries, because smart is not using a lot of technology and sensors and robotic. Is to use the minimum, actually IoT, and in a clever solution, like using the gravity instead of pumping, or using smart pump or low current pump. That's why also we are focusing on using the minimum sensors or tech, because there is also a concept of the green IT, like there is a green technology. So it's interesting to use the bacteria instead to maintain the water quality instead of recycling more and more, using the energy consumption for the pumping and the mechanical filters and protein skimmers. So adapting this bacteria to aquaculture process, it's much better than using high or heavy and complex systems. So maybe we introduce the solution of the 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐴 and then let for questions.
Yeah, if there's someone in the audience who has some question, feel free to ask.
Or, can you please play the video?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Culture. With a growing demand for natural, healthy, and sustainable seafood, it's time for a change. Revolutionize fish farming with our sustainable and smart practices. Our AI-driven system produces natural, chemical-free fish while promoting responsible and eco-friendly aquaculture. Join us in transforming the future of the industry. We believe that innovation and sustainability are the keys to a brighter future. And the 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐴 is the perfect example of that. By combining automation, smart technology, and eco-friendly materials, we have created a solution that offers low carbon footprint, high production and profitability, effortless scalability, and high biosecurity. Our administrative section houses advanced smart technologies and AI, while the cultural area ensures our aquatic creatures thrive in a controlled and eco-friendly environment. With advanced filtration and recirculation systems, the 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐴 ensures optimal health and safety for our fish and shrimp.
𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐴 features 3 components: a lightweight and durable metal structure, ecological cladding for aquatic life, and eco-friendly cement-free flooring for ideal agricultural conditions. Optimal air quality and climate control are key to successful fish farming. Our smart ventilation system, powered by solar energy and controlled by the smart application 𝐒𝐻eLit, provides real-time monitoring and easy access to air quality data. Create the perfect environment for your fish to thrive in the 𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐴. Experience the future of fish farming with our smart basin. Designed for optimal fish culturing, it features advanced aeration and self-cleaning system, easily monitored in real time with the 𝐻𝐻eLit app. Durable, sustainable, and made with high-quality materials, our basins provide a long-lasting solution for all your aquacultural needs.
Feeding your fish has never been easier with our multifunctional auto feeder. With its advanced control unit and multiple capacities, you can now accurately and efficiently feed your fish with just a touch of a button using our Feed It application. Versatile and easy to use, this is the perfect solution for your fish needs. Automate your aquaculture operations with our auto piping system. IoT solutions reduce risks and optimize your cultivation system. Our 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐬 software provides real-time water quality sensing and data analysis, enhancing monitoring and control of your water recycling system. Enjoy a cost-efficient operational cycle with optimal water quality.
Grow It, a game-changing platform and app that puts the power of real-time monitoring and control right at your fingertips. With Grow It, you can stay in complete command of all the elements in your 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐬, working in perfect harmony for optimal results. Monitor your fish costs, lower your expenses, and improve efficiency. Plus, with analysis and reporting features, you can turn data into knowledge for even better results. We hope you enjoyed this glimpse of the 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐬 and the innovative solutions it offers for the future of fish farming. Together, let's create a better, more sustainable world for ourselves and future generations. Thank you for watching and joining us on this journey towards sustainable aquaculture.
Thank you. Any questions?
So that was a great illustration how an aqua plant looks like. There is the fish tanks where the fish, and to explain it further, the water from the fish tanks is going to a bioreactor where you have the mechanical filter and the biofilter to clean everything. And why I think this is so promising is because it's when you have a fish in the water, it's a ratio of consuming feed into meat. It's much better than poultry, pigs and everything, because the fish is not using its body to heat themselves. It has the same temperature as the water, and that means the feed to meat ratio is much, much faster. Can you also tell more about the sustainability potential of aquaculture?
Yeah, exactly. In this system, we don't recycle 24 hours like RAS system. Until a certain age of the fish, we use only the bacteria functioning.
You don't have a mechanical filter?
We don't use any filter at the beginning until a certain age. Then the fish waste increases by age because consume more also, and also the feeding, more feeding. So the feed also analyze inside the water, making more ammonia and toxic. Then we start do recyclation. And even though we don't continue for 24 hours, we monitor the fish, the water quality, and depend on it, we decide how many hours we should turn on the recycling system.
But that's for shrimp, or do you do it with fish too?
Yeah, we do different kind of shrimps also, and fish like 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐬, sea bass, and tilapia. It depends. The system should be customized, depend on the fish. You know, some of fish like wants deeper water, some of fish lighter. It depends. The designs of the system.
Yeah. Well, should we end early, or do we should?
If there is no question.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for this joint session, sure. Still have ample time. I think we have 8 minutes more left. So let's go ahead and put the questions forward.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for very good presentation. My questions, what do you do with organic solids? After fish or shrimp, we have organic solids. What you provide to do with this waste? Organic waste after...
I can only talk about my experience because the organic waste is very dense in nitrogen. It's very dense in carbon and everything. So this is a huge potential for fertilizer. But let me say potential, because the aquaculture industry in Norway don't use this potential. So
No.
you know, yeah. So when I worked in this aqua plant, it was so sad to see this huge amount of dense nitrogen potential just turning into biocoal. Can you imagine the waste?
Yes, I was in the Norway, but in here, because I'm a little just not the nervous, it is here amazing nature, and if start open sea aquaculture, it's necessary the system which will stop to pollute sediment by sediments, because nightmare.
I have worked in aquaculture, and there's no doubt when you have 5 million salmon concentrated on a small place, it's going to stress the local impact. So it's very important when you place the aquaculture site that there is enough current to spread out all these organic matters. I would say, without of saying more, I would say succeeding with a closed system aquaculture place might be one of the solutions. But as we talked about earlier, to succeed with a closed system, you need to be able to know more about the chemical balance in the water and also the bacteria doing the recycling. Because after 2 years, the unbalances within the water start to accumulating, and it's harder and harder to mitigate disaster. I think if we got to collaborate a little bit with our solution together, maybe we can extend it to maybe first 3 years and maybe 4 years. Then you have the entire production done in a closed system. But you know, do you think Norway want that? Or comparative edge in Norway with the nice fjords and everything, and suddenly you can produce salmon down in the Middle East? Why should we make this technology so people can produce salmon somewhere else?
Yeah. We had actually an experience in Saudi Arabia 2019 when we built the first farm as a prototype and a showcase. So it's only producing 12 tons in a year of shrimp. So we collect all the waste coming from the shrimp. It's not only waste, also the shell, their shell, because they're changing the shell. And we clean it because it's salty water, dry it, and then we use it as a chicken feed. It's not really proven yet, but we brought, because it's small, not a very big amount, we brought chicken and we tested. And we ate the eggs and it was really delicious.
Oh, it's very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know in Chile, they're using also the waste to grow worms. And the worms can be fed directly into the salmon later. In Norway, that's not allowed to do because of food security. So like how you operate your aqua plant is different from country to country regarding to legal operational law.
Yeah, we have another question here.
Yes, this is Taher. Could you please just run through the numbers in terms of setup cost, return on investment, what a typical, like what the video had, how much does it cost to put up, and how much do you get out of it, typically in a year? Break-even, schedules, just run some numbers, please.
Okay. Actually, if we take as an example the white shrimp 𝐕𝐺. So we designed the system to produce, each basin will produce 1 ton in a year of white shrimp 𝐕𝐺 in 3 cycles. And you can change the harvest, it depends also on the harvest plan and the size of the end product you want. So the cost, we divided into 3 sizes, like the pilot sizes, which produce 15 to 25 tons in a year. And the cost starting, the capex from $250,000. And then you go to the standard module, which produce, we present it as the most economical farm, and it produces 50 tons in a year of shrimp vanami, and the cost it's around $1.5 million. Then you go to the big scale farm from 400 tons in a year and going up. So the ROI, it's starting from the pilot from 18% up to 33%, depend on the size of the farm. Going bigger is better. You know. Is it enough or not more figures? Now this is for vanami shrimp, white shrimp vanami as an example. Each fish have their studies, you know. But I give you an example only.
Okay, final question.
Thank you. Two questions. It's Susan Payne. My first question is this a concept or is this actually based somewhere and being executed? That's the first question. Second question is about fish food. Are you, and I'm unclear about whether this is in operation, but are you using black soldier fly? Have you considered what the alternatives are to feed your fish? Because I know that fish food has become much more expensive in the last 2 years, actually, particularly. And I'd like to hear more about that. Thank you.
Okay. Regarding the system, yes, it started from 2019. And the first farm was the pilot farm in Saudi Arabia, and another also, one to produce 400 ton in also Saudi Arabia. There is also in Morocco and France. We started also in France and in Geneva as well. And currently we are building in Oman also 3, we call it semi-smart farms, will be executed in the beginning of next year.
When it comes to black soldier fly, actually in Tromsø there are someone who's setting up production of black soldiers for feed for the salmon. When you're feeding the salmon, 80% of the fish feed today is vegetables like peas, soys, and this is important from mainly South America. We are trying to do an initiative in Norway where we're trying to have the feed for the fish more locally. But if we were feeding the fish only fish harvested in the ocean, this will be too expensive. There's another initiative close to my city in Tromsø where they have a silicium production, and producing silicium produces a lot of CO2. Instead of emitting the CO2 into the atmosphere, they're using algae to bind the CO2 to making omega-3. The place I'm working right now, the food we are feeding the fish, some percentage of the food is actually algae from this plant. So there's so many technical solutions which can be solved to make the feed more sustainable. Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Is it a statement or is it another question that's going to go into a discussion, Susan?
Just to finish that off, there are all sorts of alternatives you can look at, not just what you just referred to. And one of them is water lentils. We grow those, but just as an aside, to keep your costs down, there are all sorts of different alternatives to feed fish, and it's one of the most nutritious.
Thank you.
Well, what Susan means is that you can collaborate with her.
Thank you.
Susan, I made it easier for you. Thank you. Thank you so much, gents, for this presentation. Aquaculture Sustainable Solutions for Global Food Security.